everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Thanks for coming. You're listening to Thanks We Hate It. I'm Mickey Atkins.
I'm Hannah Lehman.
And this is episode 14.
14. We're
Wow.
here. We're almost to episode 15, which means we're almost on our way to episode 20.
20.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I forgot
What?
to tell you this when we were chatting just now, but this is actually a fun thing.
Okay.
Well, it's not fun. It sucks. But it's just because we've been talking about MLMs lately a lot, and
Yeah.
I came across this. I'll randomly check the news, and I usually like stupid news, like celebrity gossip news and all that kind of stuff. And the TLC's 1,000 Pound Sisters that have their own reality show and stuff. It's not about that. Don't worry. There was an article about her fiance. Well, it starts a little bit like that. Her fiance lost like 100 pounds or something like that. So like this article I came across, I was reading through it, and he says in the article that how he lost so much weight, blah, blah, blah. And like one of the things is all the generic stuff. But then he's like, I also checked out which like vitamins and minerals I was supposed to be taking in, right? And I was like, that seems like a weird thing to say. So I look up, because I was like, I could not put a face on, I believe it was, I'm sorry, it's not a 1,000 Pound Sister. I'm sorry. I got the completely wrong show. It is Sister Wives. I had the sister part right. Okay, one of the Sister Wives, one of, I think the daughter. So one of the daughters of Cody.
Okay. Yeah.
You're familiar. I'm so sorry. I messed up that story, you guys.
I was like,
who?
Yes.
What are you talking about? So
yes.
Sister Wives, Cody with all of his wives, one of their daughters' fiancés had an article about how much weight he's lost.
Okay.
Anyway, so I go to look up his fiancé because I was like, oh, I didn't know like they had grown children. The Sister Wives did, right? So I go find her on Instagram, and I just thought it was really like weird. Again, like why would you like mention vitamins and minerals that you need to lose weight? Like that's like just a human, like, yeah, you're supposed to get vitamins and minerals. Like that's a basic human necessity, right? I look up the girl from the show, and she's talking a lot about a pink drink in all of her videweights. She's a Plexus dealer, which Plexus is an MLM. If you didn't know, Plexus is like basically a weight loss MLM. They really pump this, what they call the pink drink, and it's supposed to be the elixir of everything that saves your life and cures cancer and all that. You know what I mean about MLM. Yeah. So I'm like,
Snake
that's
oil.
Interesting. And I have a weird feeling that they either paid for that article to be written about them so that people would look her up. I can't remember how many followers she has, but it's like gross enough to prey after people in MLMs.
Yes.
But to be a public figure already.
Yes.
And I do remember somebody saying that I think some of the Sister Wives also got into Plexus to be. So they probably sucked the kid in, like the daughter, and that's probably how she got into it. And to be a public figure and have hundreds of thousands of followers that already trust you, and then to join an MLM and use your public figureness as a way to get a huge downline is grosser than a lot of things. It was just like, what the heck?
Predatory.
So, and it's also just like MLMs are freaking everywhere.
Yes.
We think they're like going away and a thing of the past, but like how many people don't know what that is? And they're like, oh, Plexus. And I will say the number one red flag, a red flag for somebody being an MLM, if you guys aren't familiar, a really good thing to look out for is if somebody's talking about something improving in their life all the time on social media, but when you go to their bio, they won't say what it is. A lot of people in MLMs do not like to say what company they're part of because they know the bad rap that MLMs have. So it's very suspicious if you go to their bio and it says like, take my health quiz or take my hair care quiz. And you go through all that and then realize it's Monate or it's doTERRA or whatever.
Because they try to get you in DMs with them to like talk to them and like manipulate them, and then they sell you the pitch, which is never a good sign. Anybody who has a legitimate business doesn't need to hide what the business is from you until they've had one-on-one contact with you. That's bizarre.
You. It's also just wild that like you don't need, if you're not in a pyramid scheme, you should not have to say that you're not in a pyramid scheme.
I know.
Like, why are you defending it so much? You should not have to defend, like, I'm not scammy. I'm not scammy. No, this isn't a scam. Yeah, people that aren't in a scam don't have to tell you that they're not.
You're protesting too much, babe.
Yes.
Yeah.
How are you, Mickey?
You know, I'm doing okay. I'm a little tired today. I had a Patreon live stream this morning. Shout out to all of my patrons. Hi.
Hi, Mickey's patrons.
I'm a little worn out, but otherwise I'm doing good. Besides the fact that it is disgustingly fucking hot outside today.
I wasn't going to tell you.
So hot.
It's been like upper 60s, low 70s here and raining. It was raining yesterday.
We did get some rain here. Hold on, let me look at the forecast. We got some rain the last couple of days. But it's 109 degrees today.
Oh.
And this is like cooling off. Like it's going to get slightly. Tuesday of next week, it'll be only 98 degrees.
Ooh, not single digits,
double digits.
Double digits rather than triple digits.
It's just really, really hot, and I'm sweaty and tired.
Freaking sorry.
Yeah.
Do you have air conditioner in your office though?
Oh yeah.
But you're still just like you're probably still sweaty even with air conditioning.
The thing that sucks mostly is that like in the dead of summer here, nobody really goes outside during the day because like it's too hot to exist.
It's dangerous.
Yeah. So what you end up doing is going from like building to building or like building to car to building. And so you don't really spend all that much time outside necessarily, but it's like the in-between where like you have to walk from the building to your car and then sit in your hot ass fucking car. It doesn't matter if you put up a sunshade or not because it's so hot. So it's like sitting in an oven for like 10 minutes until the AC finally cools it down. And then by the time that you get home, your car has just now cooled off and then you have to walk back into your house or like wherever you're going. So
I get like sweaty all over again.
Yes. Running errands here during the summertime is the worst because you just spend all day walking to and from like building to car and you get sweaty in this like weird cyclical pattern that's very gross. Makes you feel sticky and yucky.
I am so sorry.
Yeah.
I am so sorry. Oh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Pray for all of your friends living in hot climates, you guys, because we are struggling.
Legitimately worried about you guys. Like, it's just gross. People always die this way. Mm-hmm. Like, people decide to go on a hike when it's going to be 98 degrees, and they don't realize that nausea they're feeling is heat stroke setting in. Yeah. And it's like, dude, sit down, sit in the shade, stop moving, drink water, and stop moving.
Yeah, every year there are people who have to be like helicopter evacuated from the top of mountains and stuff because they're like tourists or whatever. And they decided to go on a hike with like a single 16-ounce bottle of water in the middle of the day. Just like, absolutely not. Please do not do that. You will die. It's so dangerous.
I read about the Grand Canyon tourists being Grand Canyon's in Arizona, right?
Yeah, it's just
Am
like
I
way
tripping?
north.
Okay, yeah.
No.
So I was reading about, because people are still going to the Grand Canyon in this heat wave, and I read that rescue crews sometimes won't go save people because it's dangerous for the rescue crews.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me, honestly.
We're not going to risk a bunch of heat stroke for somebody who decided to do that. That I don't know if there was special circumstances around that, so don't quote me on it, but like
that's fair.
That makes sense. Yeah. It's like there's warnings everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah. You should not. Maybe pick a different day. Maybe go at 5 in the morning. I don't know.
Yes. Well, and also too, like that's the thing is that you just have to be selective about the time of day that you're going out. You know, like anybody who has lived here for any length of time during the summertime, like if you have to leave your house or like run errands or do something, you do it either really early in the morning or in the evening after the sun has already gone down. Because also too, like the thing that sucks is that running errands at nighttime is like better, obviously, because the sun is not on you, but the pavement is still hot. And so you feel it like emanating up from the asphalt and the concrete.
yeah.
So it's still fucking hot outside, just like in a weird, it's like coming from below instead of coming from above.
I was
just
going to
like
say,
sort of
even
weirdly
when the sun
soothing.
goes down, it's probably really hot still.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of my favorite childhood memories were just like laying on the pavement outside after the sun had gone down because it's just like warm and cozy.
Yeah.
But like as an adult who, you know, doesn't really make a habit of laying on asphalt all that often, it's just mostly hot and gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you,
Oof.
Hannah?
I am very good. Not much to report.
Love that.
I was curious while we're doing our chit chat, going to go off the rails yet again before we get into it.
Okay.
Did you hear Colleen Ballinger update? That's my news station
Yeah.
noise.
Yeah.
I'm sure, well, you've probably heard of this. Most people will have by the time this comes out for sure. But did you hear / read the Vanity Fair article?
No.
Did you hear about the Vanity Fair article?
No. What happened?
Oh,
Is there just more press coverage,
Vanity...
more shitty shit about her came out or what?
No. Somebody wrote an entire Vanity Fair article defending Colleen, and
Literally how? Defending her how?
So it's a big mess right now. So the H3 podcast has been talking about it a bunch, but like
Interesting.
we believe that it's probably her PR team trying to probably paying somebody to fix it, but like the lawyers didn't say that much. Her lawyers didn't comment on the Rolling Stone article. So it's just kind of a weird situation, but the writer of the article got so much hate on Twitter about it for his take on it. And Adam McIntyre, they didn't reach out to any of the victims to take their comments or their side of the story or anything because they probably got paid by Colleen's PR team, is my guess.
It's just lazy journalism. Like, fuck that shit.
The title of the article is How the Miranda Sings Colleen Ballinger Scandal Went Off the Rails. Get it? Rails, like train rails.
Yeah,
Everything
that feels
you
like an
need to
inside
know
job.
About the drama tearing YouTube apart.
The only person it's tearing apart is Colleen.
The only thing you need to know, and it's also disturbing that it makes it seem like everything you need to know, like somebody who hasn't heard about it should read this article to get all the facts.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. I won't go into the whole article, of course, because this is just chit chat, but it's very interesting so that they keep going back to, they do mention that she allegedly wore the blackface during the Beyonce dance, you know, and then also allegedly sent corn with a P to minors of a sex worker. But they were like, by the way, the blackface thing has been debunked. That was, you know, we talked about that. That was green makeup from a previous thing, which if you guys want our opinions on that, we talked about it in the Colleen Ballinger episode. But but they don't say shit all about the sex work, about Trisha Paytas's nudes being sent out, except at the end they say that it's unverified screenshots of her that do look bad if true. Like they're just shedding doubt. They're just trying to add doubt to the whole thing.
Ew.
It's bizarre. And that's what like you said, it's like, sounds like an inside job. And the guy blocked Adam on Twitter after Adam like tweeted him and stuff. And like he went private on Twitter, I believe, because that's what everybody's been saying. And if you click on his name, you know how you could click on the name to see all the articles that person wrote? If you click on his name in Vanity Fair, it now says that, oh wait, it's back. This morning it was saying the page was down. So I thought he privated Vanity Fair too, but never mind.
Not.
Apparently he did not on Vanity Fair, but
okay, but still.
But apparently on Twitter, he like privated his account after people were like so mad for like the way that he wrote this article, which is like, first of all, what the fuck did you expect?
Yes.
And second of all, the thing that I am so confused about is Colleen, if all of these things are untrue, like you say they are, claiming All
Yes.
of these things are untrue. That's unverified.
Yeah.
That's literally saying, like, the rumors look like facts if you don't mind the gaps.
Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
Colleen,
Prove it.
where are the gaps then?
Yeah.
Tell us. If this is all bullshit rumors that aren't true, then why aren't you defending? I know if I
Yes.
was being accused of something that was
Yes.
untrue, I would, with my full chest, come through with receipts, why
Yes.
it was fake, why it wasn't true, everything I could to clear my name, because
Yes.
being accused of such heinous things that weren't true, if they weren't
Yes.
true, would be devastating. You would be doing everything you could.
Yes.
So tell us then. Please, Colleen, you have
Yeah.
the floor.
Where's
all
the
you
proof?
keep saying is that we're all just so confused, but you won't
Yes.
tell us why.
The thing that like makes me feel especially icky about the whole situation is that you and I obviously, and like I think most normal fucking people, if they got accused of something that was this disgusting and this insidious, would immediately make any effort that we could, like you were saying, to clear our name, right? And so like it just, like I do really wonder if her flippant attitude about it and like the really smarmy, like casual way that she talked about all of this is because she just doesn't view those things as bad, you know? Like, does she
Yeah.
not understand the gravity of actually how traumatizing and inappropriate it is to send corn to minors? And so that's why she's like, oh, they're just silly rumors, right? Like, it makes me uncomfortable. The lack
She's going
of
with
gravity.
the narrative that you guys are all blowing this out of proportion.
Yes. Yeah. I really do wonder if she thinks that, like, you know, so everybody makes mistakes. Sometimes you accidentally say the wrong thing to your friend, and sometimes you send child corn, like, or children corn, anyways. You know what I'm saying? Like, it feels like she doesn't appreciate the
is that?
gravity of the situation, which is really upsetting.
Isn't
You know?
there a Hannah Montana song that's like, everybody makes mistakes.
Yes.
Everybody has
Yes.
those days.
Yeah.
Like, it's like she's
And, like,
like that.
it really
that
is
a Hannah
like that's-
Montana song? Some Disney
Yeah.
Star song.
Yeah. Like, that really is her attitude about it. And it's so fucking off-putting.
It's
like,
very creepy.
this isn't drama. These aren't rumors. Like, this is illegal.
This is
and
actual
traumatizing.
Very
Ugh.
serious accusations coming forward on you that are
And like very credible accusations too.
very credible. Yes. Like I would love proof that you sent Trisha Paytas's not safe for work photos to minors. I would love some proof that those
Yeah, that didn't happen.
screenshots of it were somehow fabricated, please. And the reason she's not is because she knows that they're
Yeah.
true and that she did it.
It's on a different planet, man.
She's on a different level of delusion. It's just wild. So yeah, I wanted to let you know that technically her team has responded.
Yeah, I had no idea that was happening.
Everybody on YouTube is like ripping this apart, which is again
yeah.
like
it's
I don't
awful.
like I don't rejoice anybody's downfall. Like
No,
I
obviously
don't
not.
get joy out of it, but like I am so happy that everybody is working for the victims here, that everybody,
Yes.
when somebody comes forward and is like, I am rooting for her downfall because she's handled it so,
Yes.
because she hasn't done shit to make it right. Like,
But also too, like feeling a sense of righteousness or gratitude about somebody who's abusive or traumatizing or like being a bad person, seeing that person lose their platform, like that makes sense that you would feel that sense of
Yeah.
righteousness and like
That's true.
gratitude, you know? Like we
That's
don't
true.
owe bad people this like fake deference about like, well, you know, we should give them like no, like she
Right.
sent
That's true.
explicit
She's not a
material
victim.
without someone's consent to children repeatedly, like more than once,
Mm-hmm.
and weaponized her relationship to harm people. Like the list goes on and on and on and on. Like anything that someone could be accused of being like problematic, hurtful, shitty, traumatizing, that accusation has been made against Colleen. So like, I don't feel bad about saying that, like, yes, I'm glad that she's being sort of deplatformed because
I don't
having a
feel
platform is a
bad.
privilege, you know?
yeah, I don't feel bad for Colleen or like,
No.
it's just like never, like, it just feels like it's never a good look to be like laughing about how
Valid.
bad
I hear
everything
what you're
was
saying.
backfiring on her, if that makes sense. But like, not that I'm not happy people are trying to hold her accountable.
Yeah.
That people seem to be on the right side. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Like, it
and
just,
I hear what you're saying. It's
feels-
not like we are just sort of like sitting around waiting for like any old YouTuber to get like canceled or yelled at. Like that's not a thing that
And being like,
yeah, this isn't like the Hunger Games, but like, I think it's generally sad, especially being part of the community. It's sad to see YouTubers like deface the community, you know, like that sucks.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, like I do think being, like I said, like having a sense of gratitude or like, you know, relief that somebody who doesn't deserve a platform is losing their influence is like fair to me,
like,
anyways.
right.
You know?
Thank you. Yes, I appreciate the clarification. Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I agree.
Wow. Well, welcome to Colleen's
just,
Delulu summer, everybody. Love that for her.
Yeah. It's really interesting that you could totally write a non-biased article about this without completely victim blaming and casting doubt on victim stories and still be unbiased. Like you could still just take their comments and not like say one way or the other how you feel about it, but like here are all the facts. Like those are the articles people should be reading to get caught up on the situation.
Yeah.
Is
also,
everything that happened.
Can we just talk about really quick, what the fuck is an unverified screenshot? Is there an official way to verify fucking screenshots? What does that even mean? Like, that's such a fake, made-up fucking term. Like, what evidence, what more evidence or assurance do victims have to provide for this person to take them seriously? Like, how much more do they have to do before you're willing to validate their accusations?
To believe.
Like, fuck
don't even
that.
Get me started on
That's
that.
so gross.
I mean, conceivably, somebody could Photoshop screenshots of stuff like that. But why I personally see it as officially verified is that every single victim that were sent these screenshots came forward and said, yes, this happened.
Yes.
So multiple people are saying that she did this to them and there's screenshots of it and we still don't believe them? Like...
Yes.
What?
Either this is the most meticulously well-organized smear campaign that's been put together by a bunch of children, or maybe, I don't know, Colleen is actually just guilty.
It's like Harvey Weinstein. It's like, I'm sorry, by the time that many women have come forward, like, I'm sorry, they're not all conspiring together to bring down some guy in Hollywood for shits and giggles. Like,
and like, to be clear,
absolutely preposterous.
You don't need multiple people. Like, one person is enough.
You don't.
But like, especially from this perspective of like unverified screenshots, like literally fuck off. Fuck all the way off with that energy.
Reporting it, it's just like... All right. Shall we get into our show?
Yes, let's.
I think Vicky's going first this week.
I am.
What do you got for us today? What do you want to chat about?
Oh, boy. So this is something actually I'm excited to talk to you about it because I feel like you will probably know slightly more about the background for this than I will, because we are talking about Twitter, or what was formerly Twitter, I guess, today, because Elon got the zoomies again. And decided to do something weird with Twitter again.
Okay, wait.
Thank you for laughing at my jokes, but I don't think it was that funny.
I'm just picturing Elon Musk like just suddenly popping up from his chair and just like running frantically around the room.
Yes,
he's like, what can I do?
It feels like the level of like unnecessary energy that like only toddlers and small animals possess, you know? This is a grown man.
Yes. It does feel like he has, yes, totally.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, this situation basically is that Elon Musk bought Twitter a little while ago for absolutely an obscene amount of fucking money, and then decided that he wanted to overhaul the whole thing. He wanted to like do a bunch of different stuff and like, I don't know, do whatever it is that billionaires do, right? So he's made a series of changes to Twitter as a platform that have not really been well received up to this point. But recently he decided that he was completely canning the name Twitter, and he was rebranding the platform as we know it to be, it's literally just called X. So instead of tweeting at people, you'll be Xing at people.
What is this obsession with the letter X?
I don't know.
SpaceX?
This has been actually like a subject of public discourse for a while, because he named his son something weird, or his child something weird with the letter X in it, the SpaceX thing. And then also too, with the rebranding and stuff, there are reports that he was projecting words onto the walls of Twitter headquarters in San Francisco. Things like sexy and like extravagant or something. Hold on, let me pull up the article so I don't misquote it. But he seems to have a particular fascination with the letter X, and I don't know why. Oh yeah, he also projected a big giant fucking X onto the outside of Twitter headquarters on Monday.
Right.
Just
unhinged.
Exposure, sexy, exult, like all on the walls inside of Twitter headquarters.
Likes that letter.
So yeah, I am curious about your opinion about this, because you use Twitter a whole hell of a lot more than I do.
I don't use Twitter.
Well, I use Twitter exactly goose egg %. So
okay, you don't even have a Twitter?
I do, but because I made it in like 2017, and I was like, I just don't want my name, like my username, to not be there, or like for someone else to have my username, basically. And so I've like retweeted a handful of stuff about the 2016 elections. And the 2020 elections, and like that's about it.
Barely on Twitter. I
don't like
avoid Twitter very much because it is so unbelievably toxic. It's the most toxic social media I've ever been on. There is absolutely no positivity to be had. It's so stressful. You cannot say anything on there without people being just like, not even mean, like cruel, like over nothing. Like it's actually scary.
Yeah.
And then there's, speaking of not safe for work images, those kind of images are allowed on Twitter. So you could just be scrolling through somebody's, like the responses to somebody's feed. And then it's just like, here's a penis. Yeah. Like stuff like that. It's very weird. And you can't report those. Like, I don't have anything wrong with penises, you guys, but I don't want, not out of context when I'm not ready and I don't want to see one. I don't want to see one on Twitter. It's giving the same energy as like an
unsolicited dick pic, you know? Like it's not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just a time and place issue, you know?
Also, and ask somebody, like have some sort of, So what I think is really interesting is that because Elon is so unhinged about Twitter and is trying to like, he wants it, he thinks it's going to be something that it's never going to be. And I was just looking it up because you've heard of Threads, right? I actually really want to sign up for Threads because I think it's really easy. If you have Instagram, you can, what?
Yeah, I already did it. It's very easy.
Oh yeah, I heard that it's like, if you have Instagram, you could just like add an account basically. And I do really want to do it. I was just looking it up. Threads, as of 19 hours ago, has 118 million users on it so far. And for context, Twitter has approximately 450 million monthly active users as of 2022. But remember, Threads was literally just created. Yeah. And they already have a quarter of the people on it as Twitter has monthly users.
Interesting.
I don't know how many total. Yeah, Twitter has about 396 million users globally. So the fact that they already have a quarter, if it keeps growing like this, like, you know. Yeah. So it was kind of like also speculated that Threads is going to suck for a while because they made it on such a whim, because they made it in a response to people hating Twitter so much. Yes. But also that's kind of the plan. They know that they made it really rushed, but they're going to work on making it better and better as they go on, because they just wanted someplace for someone to go. Don't get me wrong. The Zuck does not make me happy whatsoever. I hate them all. They're all terrible.
Okay. But thank you for the clarification.
I would prefer, if I had to have dinner with somebody, I would prefer dinner with Mark Zuckerberg over Elon Musk if I had to talk to someone for 2 hours.
Listen, I'm sorry,
if you gun to your head, who would you pick? What?
I'm picking the third option in that scenario. I'm sorry. No, that's a pass for me.
Whoa, Mickey.
I have very little patience for either of those people, mostly because I don't like Instagram as an institution. I am very frustrated with that platform. And also too, like, I just don't respect it at all, because the only features that Instagram and Facebook now have are things that have been directly ripped off of another successful social media platform. And anytime that Mark Zuckerberg tries to buy another social media platform and they tell him to go fuck himself, then he just gets even more mad and like tries to rip off their thing. And
he
then
never
like,
comes up with anything original.
No, well, and then they do it poorly. Like, I'm sorry, I know that lots of people like reels, and that's fine. I don't really give a shit. Like what vehicle, and I know you watch them too, but like what vehicle people consume content through. But like from a content creation perspective, trying to make content in reels versus in TikTok is like a different world. And so it's just fair. They're all shit fucking people.
They
and
are.
None of them have interesting or good ideas. And they just, it feels very much
just
like
lesser of the two evils to me.
Well, and it's like immature, like middle school age, not even like grade school aged boys got given like an
having a dick measuring contest.
Well, and like somebody gave these two children an earth-shattering amount of money and then unleashed them on the digital market, and like why do we all have to suffer the consequences for that, you know?
See, I have this theory that Elon Musk, while he's very, very rich, and this is proof of that just because you're ungodly rich does not mean you're smart. Does not mean that you're actually business savvy. Capable. It just means that you're really, really rich. Okay, so first of all, sorry, going back to, I was just mentioning Threads because I am excited to see where that goes, especially because I guess I feel like I'm already on Instagram and Facebook, so I might as well add to that support rather than like trying to build up somewhere else. But back to him naming Twitter X, I'm going to go with my favorite opinion on this so far is from Moist Critical, another YouTuber. He's big on Twitch as well. And he said that this literally sounds like a porn site name. And
yes, I saw
saying
that
too. You're going to X each other or Xing each other sounds very inappropriate. And just the whole platform being called X sounds
weird.
Very much like adult content.
Yeah.
And if you look up the letter X or X.com, I could almost guarantee you something inappropriate, not safe for work, will come up. You know what? I'm going to try it. Okay, Twitter came up. A bank came up. Damn it. I was really hoping to prove a point there.
That's okay. It does still sound
really wanted to just
like a queer hookup app. It does.
Yes.
The other thing about this that really makes me laugh is that he announced this like on a whim. It's like he woke up from having a dream about it and was like, I'm doing this. And they didn't bother to secure trademarks or patents or like any of the relevant legal paperwork. They literally started taking the logo off the building, the Twitter logo off of the building. And the fucking cops showed up. And they were like, you can't fucking do this, man. Like, you don't have a permit. You can't just start doing building construction in the middle of the goddamn day.
That is another problem with having too much freaking money is the entitlement that literally anything you don't care the consequences because you could buy your way out of anything. Cops show up, they could be like, cool, well, here's a couple $1,000s to leave.
Sure.
You know?
Well, and also I'll just pay off the fine. Who cares?
Right. Or pay off the fine. Trademarks, whatever. I don't care if somebody has it. We'll pay them whatever their price is to take it from them. You know, or if they sue us, we could take them to court happily. Like, it's just...
The funny part about that, though, is that the person who owns the trademark, I think, for X or X.com or whatever, is actually Microsoft.
Oh. I wonder how that's going to work.
Because in hindsight, that's like actually a really stupid fucking decision. Like, of course, Microsoft owns some kind of patent or trademark for X as like a branding medium because they own Xbox and whatever. And like, it's like a very Microsoft thing, right? Why on God's green earth would you as a tech giant try to take on another tech giant when you could just pick a different fucking letter out of the alphabet, man? Just pick a different name. Pick something else.
Changing the name in general is a stupid idea.
Yes. Yes,
I don't
it is.
understand why he's doing it at all. Somebody else, I saw another thing that like compared it to, somebody else said that it was another rebrand that somebody tried to, oh, damn it. I can't remember what it was, where it's like everybody still calls it the old name anyway.
That's the other thing about this that's really funny too, is that because he made this decision seemingly on a whim and executed the transition so poorly, all of the other places where Twitter's logo, branding, imagery shows up isn't going to change yet, right? Like
I know.
businesses and
that takes months.
Well, and like businesses and all these like paper products and all this stuff that have like the little Twitter logo, the little bird, and then their Twitter handle, that's all going to stay, right? Like he made no thoughts about how logically we could transition this.
And nobody
which is
cares
mind-blowing.
that he changes the name. Everybody's still going to call it Twitter.
Yes.
And even if they don't, like, it just, I don't know. Twitter was so big when it first started and got popular.
Yeah.
That to try to change the name of something like that is just like
Stupid.
It seems like a really bad business decision to me.
Yeah. Well,
It
I think
seems like a really
especially
bad business
from a
decision.
marketing perspective too, because
From a
so much
marketing
of
perspective.
like user engagement has to do with brand recognition, right? Like, have you heard about the Tropicana story? Have you? So this was like, you know how like businesses will do this, right? Where they rebrand every, I don't know, couple of years, every couple of decades. And like, especially recently, there's been a lot of like simplification of logos. Tropicana tried to do something like that where they redesigned their logo and some of their branding. They kept the same name, but they changed like the outside of the carton, basically.
Right.
And because they changed it so much, consumers didn't recognize the brand anymore. So their sales absolutely plummeted and they had to change it back because nobody was buying fucking Tropicana orange juice anymore because they didn't even recognize that that's what it was. And it just feels like that. Like, first of all, like you're saying, no one cares about what you want us to call it, Elon. People are still going to call it Twitter. But second of all, like, this is not helpful from a brand recognition perspective, right? Like, someone's going to see a website called like X or like this new logo and give zero shits about it and not want to engage with it because it sounds like a tech startup, not like an actual social media platform.
Right. That's the thing me too, is that it does not sound like a social media platform whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it's very, very strange to me that he named it like the epitome of all the names that he loves, like the simplification of all the names that he loves, that he just was like, you know what? X.
Yes.
Seriously. It's like, like he does not think about stuff at all. It's just, it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
You know what it reminds me of?
Everybody's still going to call it Twitter. And also, you're going to keep losing users, too, because every decision he's made since he bought Twitter has been arbitrary.
A bad one.
Either arbitrary or very stupid. Like the whole, like, it blocks you after like 600 tweets a day. Like you could only read a certain number of tweets every single day unless you're paying him the monthly fee, unless you're paying for Twitter Blue. And he claims he wanted to make it altruistic. Like he was saying, like, go outside. If you're walking at more than that many tweets a day, then you're on social media too much. Like, fuck off with that. You're such a liar. You don't care about that at all. You want people to get Twitter Blue.
Yes.
You want people on the platform that much.
That's the other thing, too, is that, like, he gutted the verification system so that you don't have to actually be verified. You just have to pay for it, which resulted in, like, admittedly, a string of really funny tweets from, like, like the Chiquita banana company that wasn't actually the right company, right? And so, like, sure, that's kind of funny. But from a misinformation perspective, that's fucking terrifying. Like, in an age where propaganda and misinformation and disinformation is so rampant, like, why would you remove the barrier to entry to just spread blatant falsehoods super quickly? Like, why, Elon, would you do that? For what?
Like, he took the whole point of verification away. The fact that somebody could pay Elon a fee every month and make an account of me and
terrifying.
Call themselves Hannah the Horrible and then start, like, spewing conspiracy theories or, like, vote for Trump and, like, all this other crap, like, just to troll me and just to make my audience because there's people out there that don't
Yeah.
spend enough time on the internet to know these things, and they would be confused. I don't like, that's terrifying. And the whole point of verification, I just don't like, it's, I mean, yes, there is a status symbol component, but a lot of it is to like, I look for that symbol to make sure I'm on the right account, to make sure I'm actually looking at Selena Gomez's Instagram and not some fan account. You know what I mean? And so to turn that into something completely different. Like, it's literally when you're on a dating app and you remember on OkCupid, you used to be able to see if somebody had the premium version or if the free version, and you could say like, oh, they're a premium member, so they could see if they like you or not. It feels like that, like, oh, they're paying and you're not. And did you care if they were or not? No, nobody gives a shit.
Yes, exactly. I think especially in context with the censorship that he has pushed on the platform, with him like censoring words like cis, CIS, meaning like you're not allowed to refer to someone as cisgender because it's a slur. Yeah, there's a lot of like very aggressive. Isn't a slur,
though, right?
No.
Okay, I'm like, am I missing something?
No, it's this very like ultra right wing conservative conspiracy theorist QAnon sort of take that like queer people and especially trans people referring to cisgender people as cisgender is like it's the reverse racism thing, except with gender. Like that doesn't fucking exist. Like. You can't discriminate against a group that's
all the
not.
Time. It's an identity.
Yes. Yeah. It's also an inoffensive term in the same way that calling someone trans, if they're trans, is inoffensive. Calling someone cisgender when they're cisgender is not an insult, right? Just because you feel some type of way about it is not my responsibility, and it doesn't mean that the language is bad. It's not like intended to cause harm.
I guess I'm not surprised considering the way he has leaned in the past, but like...
There's just like a whole... situation going on with the way that he is censoring people and or like not censoring people who need to be censored. That makes me especially suspicious of his motivations for things like Twitter Blue and like rebranding the whole thing. Like it feels
last time I checked, Andrew Tate is still on the platform, so that's good enough for me to hate him. To hate Elon Musk, so...
Yeah. I mean, which is not hard, to be clear.
That's very true, but...
But the whole thing just reminds me of, like, a cartown villain, you know?
Very much so.
Have you
He
played
looks like
Stardew
a
Valley?
cartoon villain, honestly.
Have you played Stardew Valley?
No, but I was just looking it up the other day because I didn't realize it was an app game. I thought that it was, I thought you needed like a console to do it. And I didn't realize that it was an app game. So now I might. I don't know. I'm looking into, I might. I don't know. Is it worth it? Do you like it? Because you have to pay for it. So,
it's worth it, though. It's also like made
like
by it's a small
RPG.
developer game. And so it's made by like a person and not like some big old, like giant gaming conglomerate, but it is very relaxing. Like there's a storyline and whatever, and part of it is this large corporation called Jojo Mart that like tries to take over everything, right? And Elon Musk reminds me of Jojo Mart. Like he's just a shitty, mean person.
Like Jojo Mart is part of the story. Part of the Stardew Valley story.
Basically what happens is that you start the game working at Jojo Mart, like at the corporate headquarters. You're in your little cubicle and there's a cutscene about how your grandpa left you his farm in Stardew Valley. So then you go to Stardew Valley, you start working on your farm. But Jojo Mart comes to Stardew Valley to try to put all the local businesses out of business. And it's giving that energy. Just this like cartoonish, ghoulish figure who wants to like ruin everything and steal everybody's joy and own everything and just call everything Joja something, Like it just...
And think that you're smarter than everybody else.
Yes. Yeah. Like he just wants to own a like cartoon empire of things that start with the letter X. Just name them all derivatives of the letter X, which is so sad and embarrassing and also weird.
You know what? I'll play Stardew Valley. I think it was only like $5 or $10 or something like that. So what's the worst?
Do
That's
it.
Like not a big loss. Okay, I'll play it and then I will tell you guys next.
Please do.
Next time how it is, because
Perfect.
that, like I said, my friend told me a couple weeks ago that he was like, I don't think it has, I think there's an app version of it. And I was like, what? Nice. Because I heard so much and it sounds like my kind of thing. I only like relaxing farm. I said, I have a farm game. I play Candy Crush. I play Sudoku, stuff like non-high stakes games. So
there are some enemies in it. Like if you go to a certain location,
okay. As long as they don't have
monsters.
What I don't like is like you have like 5 lives, or you have like energy or something that when it runs out you die. I don't like it when your character dies. Does it have that?
So in the beginning of the game, you do have energy. I mean, you have energy for the whole game. In the beginning of the game, you have to be more mindful of it because like every time you swing your little axe or like, dig a little, like, hoe up a little section of land or whatever, you lose some energy.
Okay.
And if you pass out, like if you run out, then you pass out and then someone has to like carry you to your bed. And usually they charge you money for it, which sucks.
Like real money?
No. Like, yeah.
Okay.
Like your little, Stardew Valley coins or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
But once you get
But is there any battles to the death with other characters?
I mean, you can die. Like you can run out of health if they beat you up. But like, I don't think it's that. It's not like permadeath.
But what happens if you do?
You wake up in the local doctor's office and they're like, oh my gosh, we found you passed out. Like you should be more careful next time. And usually you lose some of whatever you had in your backpack and some money. But it's not like, oh, you have to start all over from your last save or something. It's not like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll still try it. And then if it's too stressful, then I know that sounds silly, but it's like, it's like
no, that's
those, fair. Like first person shooter games and stuff. I absolutely cannot enjoy those because that's just way too stressful for me. So
yeah. No, I think the other thing about Stardew that's really nice is you can play it however you want to, like if you don't want to do the main quest line and you just want to farm, you just want to put your little crops down and do that, you can just do that. Like there's a little saloon you can go to every Friday and go give people gifts and chit chat and like just be on your farm and like you don't lose any points or like nothing bad happens to you if you don't progress the main quest line. You can just hang out and farm. It's really fun.
That sounds fun. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give it a try.
Have you ever played Animal Crossing?
Because that you need a console for, right?
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't own any video game anything.
I play it on the Switch,
than an iPad.
But I feel like Animal Crossing New Horizons would be your game, Hannah.
Probably. I've heard lots of good things about it.
It almost is like not enough of a game for me. I get bored because I'm just like, what's this all for? But like that's the point, is just to do nothing basically.
Is that Nintendo? Mm-hmm. Is that like a handheld?
So it's both. The little Joy-Cons, they're like 2 little controllers, and they slide onto the side of your little screen so you can carry it handheld, or you can put it on the dock and then play it on your TV.
Okay, I was going to say, because I don't want to go down the road of putting video games on my TV and having like an Xbox and stuff. Okay. I just don't need that kind of temptation of time waster. Like because I've never done it, I'm not interested in it, so it's not a loss.
Oh,
I don't want to get addicted to it, and then it would be a loss if I had to get unaddicted to it. Like, but I feel like if it was a Switch, it would be more limited to what I could do, and it would be like on the go kind of entertainment and stuff.
That's fair.
And it wouldn't be like because I have a lot easier time like pausing a show while I'm binge watching to do something if I need to get something done.
Yes.
Than I am like playing a video game. I know you can get like really, really hyper focused and sucked into that. Yeah. And I don't want to start going to bed at 2 and stuff or like, and I know I have that type of personality that I probably would get addicted to it. So did you have anything else about Twitter? Because this is a great segue actually into what I have to talk about.
Segue away, my friend.
So speaking of video games, today we're talking about another weird TikTok thing because that's my favorite thing to talk about. Clearly, that's a theme on this show. So as somebody who plays video games, you know what an NPC is, right?
Yes.
So if those that don't know, NPC stands for non-player character. It is in first-person shooting games or in video fantasy games and stuff like that. Yeah. It is obviously exactly what it sounds like. It's the characters in the game that are pre-programmed to say certain things, interact with you, and they float around. They kind of have this like auto things.
They usually have like preloaded dialogue and stuff. And so like there's no like depth of personality there. It's not like if you go and ask them, or like initiate dialogue with them a second time that they're going to say something else. It's just like they're like one step above objects in games, basically, if you're not familiar.
Yeah. But it's part of the story typically, right? Like you can go up to them to get certain items or have a conversation.
They'll help
learn
to like
a clue about the
prompt
game.
you.
They'll help you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they prompt you to like continue the quest line or to like help you find stuff or like whatever. Sometimes they're like little shopkeepers and, people who serve a purpose, but they're not like really very fleshed out characters typically.
Which I do admit that is a tempting part about video games to me, because I do love the thing that's missing from my like heyday game is that there's like, there are characters in it that you interact with a little bit, but it's not like that at all. And I do really like the concept of that in like role-playing video games where like you go explore a world and then there's other people there. Like that's really cool to me.
It's fun.
Anyway, so what we're talking about today has nothing to do with the video games themselves, but a new, very strange trend that many of you have probably heard of that's going on TikTok. So it is all the rage right now to have NPC TikTok live streams. Have you heard of those?
No. What?
Okay. So primarily we're talking about a creator called Pinky Doll.
Okay.
That's her name online. She is the one that is making this. She's one of the biggest creators in this niche right now. She did not create it, contrary to popular belief. Somebody else actually created it, which sucks because I believe the girl that created it was like Asian and does a phenomenal job on it. And it feels like because she doesn't speak English, I don't think she's the original creator. I don't know if that's it, but like it feels like because of that, like nobody really like recognizes her as like the creator of it. But that's neither here nor there. She's not mad about other people doing it or anything, as far as I know. So there's a woman named Pinky Doll who, this is relevant. Pinky Doll is quite beautiful. She is. Let me show you a picture of her because I believe she is a black woman. She has very blonde hair. She always has her nails done. She has very, very large breasts. Again, I would never describe this if it wasn't relevant to the story, but she's very conventionally beautiful.
Yeah, she's doing the hourglass situation.
She's got the hourglass thing. Yes, she is just like objectively just very attractive by society standards. So the NPC live stream, and this is so popular right now, is these Pinky Doll doing it, and you go on TikTok live and you're literally for hours, Mickey. You're literally staring at the camera and acting like an NPC and interacting with the chat. And they're like, so they're doing like the swing thing and they're like literally ice cream, yum, yum, ice cream, yum, yum, balloons, pop, 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 pop. Popcorn, pop, 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 like that kind of. I am not good at it whatsoever, but they are looking at the chat, staying in non-NPC character, like with that blank, expressionless stare.
Yes, yes, yes. It was you, my TB. Oh, thank you, baby. This is so cute. It was you, Wolf. Ice cream, so good. Slay, huh? Slay, huh?
So Pinky Doll in particular, people have, she has said, and also people have calculated based on all because you get money on your live streams, you get tips from people and stickers that turn into money as you go, right?
Yeah.
Pinky Doll is making thousands of dollars per live stream off of this. Some have estimated that she's made $4,000 for doing this for a few hours, like in one day.
In a single live?
So she is making so much bank off of doing this. Now, there's been one controversy around Pinky Doll, and this is I heard this from the Philip DeFranco show, is that something disturbing about it, and to be completely clear before I go into this, I don't really blame Pinky Doll for this, even though it's weird. I think it's a commentary on our culture and not on her. She has been lying about her age, allegedly. So she, in articles and online, it says that she's 26, 27, right?
Okay.
So she's lying about her age in the opposite way. But people have screenshots of her TikTok. She deleted it once this came out, but people had screenshots of her saying she was 19 on her TikTok, that was her age. And people know that she did this because she knows that pervs, like, you know, they're more likely to watch, like, oh, I'm legal, but I'm still a teenager. You know what I mean?
And that's where this was going.
Gonna make more money, right? But again, I view it as, I think that it's our fault for incentivizing women to make themselves act and look younger and say they're younger, because it's the pervs that are the ones that are like perpetuating that, you know? So I don't know. I think she deleted it, that part though. So I think her age is now kind of like unknown.
Sure.
But it is very disturbing that she felt the need to. What are your thoughts?
I think it's more so, it's not like shade at her as if to say like, oh my gosh, like how could you be dishonest about this, right? It's just more so that like, for me, it feels very uncomfy having that put so plainly, that like people pretending to be teenagers is a great way to make money off of men on the internet. Like,
and it works.
I know.
Thousands of dollars a live stream.
It makes me feel
gross.
It's
disgusting.
And it's just, I think it just speaks to the objectification of women, you know? It's just like,
oh yeah. Because I'm sorry, but some men are gross. Like, and I'm not kink shaming like people liking this kind of thing.
Sure.
But the men that specifically seek out 19-year-olds because they're 19 and giving them more money because of that, I'm sorry, but that's creepy. That's gross.
Weird. Yes.
However, so with all that, people have speculated that this is most likely a fetish content. That this is most likely safe for work fetish content, that the people paying these women money on the live streams are most likely men that enjoy the NPC thing, but also the kind of like paying for them to do or say certain phrases of NPCs, like the control aspect of it. So, which, I mean, well, I don't see anything wrong with that as long as everybody's adults. Like, that just seems like fetish content to me. And I'm also like, I mean, what an amazing way to make, I don't blame the women at all. They're making so much fucking money. Like, get your bag.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think I have the same feeling about stuff like this, though, just because to me, like, it reminds me of like sex doll stuff.
It's very much that vibe.
You know?
Yeah.
Like human blow up doll, which just is like kind of the uncanny valley thing. But also, you know, like, I don't know. It's like a hard thing because I think kink shaming is shitty, right? Like, people are into what they're into, and you're right, as long as everybody's a consenting adult, it's like nobody's business except for the adults involved. Yeah. But I guess, like, I don't know, it makes me feel some type of way, just like normalizing the objectification of people, you know? Because then I'm like, okay, like, sure, that's fair. Like, if it's just a kink and everybody's consenting, like, that's fine. But, like, also, too, like, what happens for those people from a cultural perspective, you know, like, does that carry over into like perceiving women and femme people as like more objects than they are people eventually, if you like engage with that content too much? You know what I'm saying? Makes me nervy.
Yeah, I can see where I could see where you're coming from. It's hard though, because it's not like anybody's doing anything wrong in this situation. Yeah. Like, if I was a 25-year-old guy and I had this kink, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with looking at live streams of it, of other adults that are consenting to do this. And then,
for sure.
And then supporting them for doing the content. Like, that's very similar to cam work. Yes. You know what I mean? Yes. Except on a bigger platform. Yeah. But it's not so much anybody individual doing anything wrong in this situation. I think if I'm understanding you correctly, it's like the overarching direction where this is going.
It's like the impact societally. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas it's not a one-on-one. Like, I mean, it would be a little different if you were paying somebody on OnlyFans to do cam work for you in an NPC style. Like, you were asking them to do, like, because maybe it's more of like that. So many people are aware of it and stuff. And then it's also like, is it going to teach men and boys that that women, because they're making money doing this, it's okay to objectify them as long as they're getting something out of it.
I think it's the same gripe that people have with traditional porn, where like it teaches a message about sex and especially about women that isn't true, right? That like
True.
Because of the way that the content is made, it's intended to be like viewed and not experienced, but a lot of people's first sex education is through porn. And so there are these very young men and boys who grow up with this attitude that like objectifying, brutalizing, hypersexualizing women is just par for the course in terms of healthy sex and intimacy, when that's not true, right? Like, sure, if that's a consensual kink that everybody's into, that's a different story, but it does kind of add up to this like larger societal picture where like far and away, in like, especially in like the sort of cis hetero circles, when there is this like increased consumption of that particular type of media, it can lend itself to a cultural understanding that just isn't reflective of what we know about healthy and safe intimacy. And like also just like conducting yourself in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and in porn, there is no communication in almost any porn. Like that's not part of anything. Like because it's set up, because everybody knows what's going to happen. It's a scene, right?
Yes,
like it's
meant to be
acting
entertainment.
Right. And so there's no, and I mean, that applies to all of it, is that there's no healthy way that, like the way we teach kids to have healthy sexual relationships later in life is communicate, make sure there's consent, make sure everybody's happy and comfortable and not in pain, blah, 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 blah. And like, then they get access to lots of porn where none of that happens, where everybody seems to know what they're doing. Everybody's like, all the women are so happy no matter what's happening to them. Like all of this stuff we kind of went off the rails here, but that's, I mean, there is something to be said about that. And is this contributing to that kind of same?
Yeah. I guess that's like my question, which to be fair, I don't have an answer to, because like,
I don't either.
I don't know that this is a popular enough phenomenon to have a similar effect. And it's like very new, I'm assuming, right? Is this new?
It's very, yes.
Okay.
It's very new, and we are assuming short-lived. A lot of people are speculating that this is gonna, the Moist Critical especially said that he was like, I think this is gonna be gone in a week or two. Like, honestly, like, I think that this is a very, very short-lived thing that's gonna go away pretty soon. I'm sure somebody will be doing it, but it won't be as popular as it is now. I have no idea. And so I think because of that too, women are also, there's men doing this too, but the women doing it are trying to do it as much as possible because they're making so much money, so they're trying to capitalize it off it, right? And it's definitely, I personally think that proof that it's fetish content is that there was a cis male YouTuber I was watching talking about this, and he went on TikTok to try it. He has like this is weird. He has a Mickey Mouse character, and he went on TikTok live, and I think he does impressions of Mickey Mouse. So he had a Mickey Mouse doll, and he tried to do the NPC thing for like a half an hour with the Mickey Mouse doll. And he was like, I made $17, and he has millions of TikTok followers, so he had thousands of people watching him. But he made $17, so it's definitely a more that kind of thing. That was the other thing, is that it's honestly like way harder than people think it is. Like people think that this is the dumbest, easiest way to make money. And this same guy was like, I literally did it for half an hour. I could not stand it for longer than that. It was so hard to do because you're repeating the same, and you're staying in that character for hours on end. And so it's actually like, I totally respect Pinky Doll for, she could do this for hours and stay in character. Wild. That's wild. That would be so hard. I was uncomfortable doing it just to show you like what it is. Like it's so hard. So it's very interesting that it's like, it's not like that easy of a way to make money. No. But I'm not worried. I'm sure once the trend goes down, she'll find some other fine way to make money, because she's like, she definitely has, she knows how to get an audience. But and then one other thing about this too, that in the live streams, there's also this thing you see where they're popping popcorn with a hair straightener. Yes, I've seen that. What is that? It's so weird. So so for people that don't know what I'm talking about, in these, especially in these NPC live streams, they usually, have like a bowl of popcorn kernels, and they have a heated on hair straightener. And by the way, don't try this at home. You could start a fire. Very dangerous. They are sitting there while they're doing their live stream and popping one kernel at a time in the hair straightener. So they literally just press the kernel in the hair straightener until it goes pop. And then they put it in a bowl, and then they move on to the next one. So I looked it up. I was trying to figure out. I was like, what is this? I was like, Reddit, tell me. Somebody, like, explain to me what this part of it is. And I couldn't find that much. Honestly, I think the most likely explanation is that it's just something weird they can do with their hands for a long period of time that they don't have to pay too much attention to, but that they can do something on camera for that long because it's so monotonous and because you're doing it for so long.
Yeah, it reminds me of those live streams. Have you seen the ones where people are peeling an egg? They like peel the shell off of the egg without rupturing the membrane underneath.
I mean, I've seen like tutorial videos on how to do that. Is that a trend to try to do that?
Yeah, this is like a real thing, but it's like that same kind of vibe. Like there's all kinds of weird stuff on TikTok Live, and some of them are just these weird monotonous tasks, like you were saying, that like part of the draw for people is like, oh, like you'll get to be here when the kernel finally pops, or like when they finally get all of the shell off of the egg. You know, it's like building this sort of FOMO around like witnessing this thing. So it makes sense that that's also popular for her, because you're right, it's probably just like an easy monotonous thing to do,
right? But that's also like kind of fun for the audience.
You know what it reminds me of though? Have you seen those videos? A lot of them are on Facebook. I don't know if they've made their way to TikTok yet, but there is this type of fetish that people have in watching someone get their hands dirty. So like all of these videos, have you ever seen
Rule 34, man?
Yes, yeah, it really is that. Like these messy food videos where people are like mixing sausage or like Rice Krispies with their bare hands, and of course their nails are like all pretty and done up and whatever, but they like say all of these weird things, these like oddly suggestive things while they're mixing all of this like food together, whatever. And there's always a man off camera telling them what to do. It reminds me of that, where it's like what you were saying earlier, that it's like safe for work fetish content. Because like technically nothing about this is inappropriate, but it does feel like oddly sexual somehow, you know, in like a sort of weird off-putting, like I didn't realize that this is what this was, and I didn't consent to that kind of a feel. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And what I find so interesting about that is that it is safe for TikTok, whereas if an 8-year-old kid scrolled by that, they would not know the difference, right? They wouldn't know. Yeah. They would have no idea the NPC thing. They would just be like, that person's acting like video game. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like the if you know kind of thing, which is a whole other topic. But it's just very interesting that they get away with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to kink shame anybody, because that's none of my business, right? But I will say, like, for me, it's a no. I don't find that type of content particularly interesting or engaging.
Do I wish I could make thousands of dollars off of just filming my hands and mixing stuff together?
Me too.
Absolutely. Have I seriously considered making a feet OnlyFans? Yes. I have a big enough audience that I'd probably make money off of that, and I wouldn't have to show any nudes, which is personally nothing wrong with that, but I personally do not want that to do that. But like, honestly though, but I have a feeling it's harder than it looks. I have a feeling
I don't doubt it at all.
Lots of money in pedicures, you know, and stuff like that.
And also people making out-of-pocket comments at you that you didn't agree to, you know?
Yes. But, I mean, imagine the money we could make on OnlyFans, Mickey, if...
Listen, I don't think a therapist content with an OnlyFans is, like, really a niche that needs filling. I'm just saying.
I've gotten requests before from subscribers.
You have?
So.
Like, outright requests of someone being like, do you have an OnlyFans? Will you make one?
No, I had one guy in a comment once. It was like a comment on a community post, and it was actually, I thought it was really funny because he wasn't being weird or rude. He was just like, OF question mark?
Oh my
It
God.
had nothing to do with the community post. It was
What
so
the
funny.
hell?
I think I even replied to him and I was just like, ha, nope, but thank you. I'm flattered or something like that.
What?
It's like, no, not for me, but
Damn.
yeah.
We're making the wrong kind of content, Hannah. We could be making more money.
Honestly, though, I am too scared to put that like I am just not my sexual awakening is not there. Like I am not sexually comfortable enough to A, take nudes at all, B, have them on the internet, especially as somebody with a YouTube channel. But I mean, I just can't help but think about Trisha Paytas and Tana Mongeau
Mojo, but yes.
Mojo, sorry, thank you.
You're fine.
Because some people call her Tana Mongoose. And
Yes. Yeah, because her last name is spelled in a way that's not phonetically
weird.
how it's pronounced, yeah.
Mojo, thank you. But those two women, they make millions of dollars off of their OnlyFans. And I'm just saying, if I could make a fraction of that off the audience I have, which I definitely would, I'm just saying. I respect the profession. That's what I'm saying.
Fair enough. Everybody stay tuned for Hannah's OnlyFans awakening. I will be your first subscriber to support you from afar. I'll never open it, but I'll just subscribe you.
What if it's just
root you
foot
on.
content? Then you can open it. Or hand content. What if it's just...
Okay, I know that this is nonsensical, but for some reason that feels even more like a boundary crossing.
Invasive.
It feels more weirdly intimate. I would have less of a hard time just being like, "Oh, great nudes, Hannah, high five," than I would be thanks
same.
for the feet
That's
pics.
actually very true.
Because I feel like that's a thing, right? Like, I don't know if you've done this, but like I have for sure test sent my nudes to a friend to be like, is this a good picture of me? Like, should I send this to someone?
Yeah.
Or like, should I retake one? You know, I feel like that's like a somewhat common experience. But like sending me pictures of your perfectly manicured feet would feel like, Hannah, for free?
Next time I get a pedicure, I'm going to send you a picture of it just out of nowhere.
No. Oh,
But like,
God.
no, seriously, I'll forget that we had this conversation and I'll just want to show you my manicure or my pedicure. And then you're going to be like, Hannah, what the fuck? And oh yeah, sorry. No, I just got my toenails done and I thought it was cute.
All right. I think that's a nice place to wrap up. Yeah.
I think so too. Let's wrap her up.
Ooh, thanks for coming, everybody. That one was a bit of a journey, but I enjoyed it.
I'm obsessed with explaining things to Mickey that she's never heard of.
Yeah.
I am obsessed with doing that. That's my favorite thing to do.
I think you know a lot more about the internet and like the sort of niche corners of the internet than I do.
Corners of the internet.
Yeah.
That's guys, if you guys please let me know if you like the Reborn Dolls discussion that we did and like the water talk and stuff like that, like those kind of niche and like NPC niche. Let me know if you guys are enjoying those because I will find more that I will go down rabbit holes and then not tell Mickey, just not explain it in depth to Mickey and then explain it to her on the podcast so that we get Mickey's first time authentic reactions to it.
That's excellent. Okay, cool.
Yes.
Thanks,
All right,
everybody.
guys. Leave us reviews. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're on YouTube.
And like the video if you like it.
Yeah. And we'll see you guys next week. We love
See you
you
next
all.
week. Bye.
Bye, guys.